Hi.
Hi.
You are?
I'm Sarah.
How you doing?
I'm
Barbara.
Hi, Barbara.
Hi.
So what's up?
This is exciting.
Yeah,
It's
very
really
excited to be
good
I wish I
meet
could get you a burger or a veggie burger or something, but we don't have
It's okay.
one.
The chai is just great.
Thank you.
Well, thank you for having us.
My
It's
pleasure.
wonderful. My question for you was really based in the fact that I feel like I've spent a lot of my life bearing witness partly to the Holocaust, which is very close to me and my family, and also in bearing witness in my work, where I work closely with those who are facing cancer. And so, as I am doing a lot of bearing witness, it's led me down a more spiritual path. I wanted to seek that, and I've followed your chants and your retreats. It's been awesome. And as I want to dive further into that spiritual path, I find I start to feel more and more disconnected from my loved ones who are not necessarily doing the same kind of thing. And so I find it's hard to know, how to be authentic and what is it to be authentic when you're moving towards something and you're sort of feeling then it's a bit of a contradiction when you're
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. And you? What's your question?
I wanted to ask you about spiritual activism, which is related.
Yeah.
I mean, the idea that if you follow a genuine spiritual path, eventually it will lead you to this deep desire to work on behalf of other people, whether it's in direct service or serving as an advocate for peace and justice in the world. And I wanted to know what that has looked like on your path. And like Sarah, I wanted to know what you would advise people as they move on this journey from deep practice to actually doing something with it.
Yeah.
No, I advise myself not to give advice. That's the first thing. Bearing witness, let's start there. So when I was in Auschwitz, the first 4 days I was like raging angry, It was beautiful, sunny, the trees were all golden and red, it was fall. And I thought, and the sun came up and everything was shining. I would look at the sun and say, how can you shine all over this place? How dare you? It was really, I was out of my mind. And then one day I looked at the sun and I thought, oh, that's your nature. The sun bears witness because that's its nature. It sees equally, shines on the good and the bad. And it provides life and light and sustenance to all, regardless of their actions. So that was a big thing for me. And then right after that, I recognized to myself, if I had been born in Nazi Germany, into a family of Nazis, and I was raised with those beliefs, I wouldn't be any different than these people, the guards in the prison. Why would I? Why would I? What else would I know, right? And so this compassion just welled up in me for those people who out of their karmic predicament, born where they were born at the time they were, did nothing but create more suffering for themselves and others. And I was so happy for myself that I didn't have to be a part of that way. So the bearing witness was like seeing yourself in the others and seeing you're not better than them. There's nothing about me that was any different than any of those people. We're made the same stuff. So it's an inclusiveness. You seem to be describing that the people in your life are not included in that. And that's not really the way it is, You remember that when you have to honor the karmic predicament of everybody involved, including yourself, and I just read a quote from a really great Lama, Tibetan Lama, who said, the Dharma is for liberation, your own liberation from your own limitations. It's not to make you a better social activist. To do your practice, you have to do it a certain way. It happens that will happen naturally. Because when you see a person suffering, your natural reaction, if you're free, is going to be to try to relieve that suffering. It doesn't have to be a big, heavy, you wear a thing and join a club and do it for everybody. You may not want to give the guy laying on the street $10, but you don't have to kick him when you walk by him, So it has to be real. It has to be like breathing after a while, You recognize that we're all in this together. The thing about activism and recognition of the situation, there's only one of us, they say. When I say they say, when I don't know what I'm talking about. They say there's only one of us. We're all cells of the same body. Why would you be nasty to your big toe? It's a part of you. So when you really enter the deepest states, you see everybody's a part of you. Why would you do anything to create suffering for anyone? Because it's only an apparent difference that you're looking at. So everything comes out of your inner realization. So the deeper that is, the more real that is for you, the more natural everything you do will relieve suffering. And like the great masters, everything they do, even if it doesn't look like it, is for our good. That's the hard part. When you start seeing these crazy wisdom gurus and who do things that what, you have to be careful because this is the dark ages and there's a lot of bullshit out there. But the great ones can do anything, and it still somehow finds out to be in your own best interest. But that's something you have to experience yourself. For the rest of us, we do the best we can, and we try to it's an inclusive thing. It's not like, see how great I'm getting and those people don't get it, You have to let your heart melt for everything and everyone until there's no choice being made anymore to do or not to do. It's natural to do. We have so much fear. That's why Bernie Glassman, that's what his big revelation was. He could sit on a mat in a zendo. He could bring other people in that zendo to deep experiences. But he recognized that the only thing that limits us is our fear. So he started going out to those dark places where there was fear. Live homeless in the streets, meeting people who you might never, you wouldn't invite them home. But now you're depending on them to help you find food. So you recognize how much fear we have, and that's the thing that separates us from others. So you work with that, and then your actions become naturally for the sake of everybody. And when they're not, you feel it, and then you work on that, and you find some way to relieve yourself of that, being caught in that place, That's all there is to do, You can't. John Lennon is people revere him for many things, but I always think he was so angry. You can't, where's peace? Give peace a chance? Yeah, but you can't be angry and have peace. How do you spread peace if you're not peaceful? Sure, we need peace, but it has to come from within, and then everything you do will bring peace. So, then again, I'm not saying you have to wait to act until you know everything. That's not, everything, because Maharaj said, love everyone, serve everyone, and remember God. So that's your practice. Loving everyone and serving everyone is just as good as sitting like this. And, that's part of the expression of what you have inside. So you do what you do. Like me, I'm qualified for chanting and pumping gas. Those are my two things I could do in this life. I don't try to do something else. It wouldn't work. Other people have other ways of doing their stuff. This is just, so I do what I do, and I hope that helps people do what they do.
It definitely does.
Yeah, good.
To say.
That's good.
Yeah.
Anything else?
Well, I really appreciate that thought. It's a good reminder to me because I am a social justice advocate. And it's hard to remember sometimes to sit with the right intention for doing it rather than just getting irritated and wanting to fix the world. And fix is a really dangerous term.
Sure. Well, the more you remember that this is your work on yourself and that your intention, how you do everything is how the karmas are created, then you recognize if you're in the right place or what you consider the right place or the wrong place, you're creating. So you try to learn how to take the time to be present with everything the best you can. You take it as you work on yourself, and then that's good. If you're doing it from the wrong place, you notice. But the noticing is a big thing. Most people don't notice. They get born, they go to school, they drink beer, and they die. And they never notice that they were ever here. So the fact that we notice that is a great blessing for all of us. And it's the result of our own karmas. Our own karmas, your karma, that you notice this at all.
As you're speaking, I'm recognizing the fear that wells up in terms of the shifts that start happening to yourself. And again, when you were speaking of the inclusiveness and to recognize that it's so important, it's a great reminder because you start to feel isolated, but really you're just cutting yourself off. And it's that need again to continue to let go of fear and just work on yourself.
And there's many ways to work on fear. I mean, many ways.
Yeah.
You find, once you recognize what the issue is, then you can find many different ways to apply a solution to that, or at least a way to work with it. It doesn't have to look this way, It could look any way, But whatever you feel you need to do to get through the day, whatever gets you through the night, that's the best thing for you. So they say.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Take care. Don't forget to take your cup with you.
Ooh, great.
Nice.
Yeah, that's a reminder that you have one more dish to wash. That's
Do
compassion
it
for you.
mindfully.
Thank you.
You just trying to tell me something?
Yeah.
Take care. Thank you.
Thank you.
Shri Guru Charana Sarojaraja Nijamanu Mukuru Sudhari Parano Raghubhara Bimala Jasu Chodayaku Palachari बुद्धिहीन तनु जान के सुमिरो पवन कुमार बल बुद्धि विद्या देहु मोहि हरहु कलेस विकार Siyavara Ramachandra Padaje Sharanam Jai Hanuman Jnana Guna Saga Jai Kapti Sati Loka Ujjaya Ramadutta Tulita Baladhama Anjani Putra Pavana Sutanam Mahavir Vikrama Bajrangi Matindavara Bhushanavaran Viraja Subesa Kana Kundala Kunchitakesh Atta Vajra Uradwaja Viraja Kandhe Munja Janeusa Shankara Suvana Kesari Nandan Teja Pratapa Mahajagabandhan Vidyavan Guni Ati Chatu Ramakaja Karibe Koatu Prabhu Charitra Sunibe Korasya Ramalakana Sita Manavasya Sukshma Rupa Risya Hindakava Ikata Rupa Darilanka Jarava Ima Rupa Dari Asur Sanghari Ramachandra Kekada Sanwa Laisa Jivan Lakana Jiaye Shira Govira Rashiralai Raghupati Kinhi Ohota Barai Mama Priya Paradai Samabhai Sahasabadana Tumaro Jasagavan Asakahi Shri Partikandalagav Sanakadika Brahmadi Munisa Narad Sharad Sahita Hisa Yamakuver Digapal Chanti Kapikobita Kaya Sake Kahante Tuma Upakara Sugriva Inkina Rama Milaya Rajapadadina Maro mantra vibhishana mana Ankeshwara aye sabba jagajan Yuga sahasra jojana paraban Ilyota hi madura palajan Prabhu mudrika Ele Mukamai Jala Dilangi Gaye Apchara Janmai Durgama Kaja Jagata Ke Jete Sugama Anugraha Tumare Tete Ramaduare Tumarakavare Otana agya inu pesare Sab sukalahe tumari ishara Tumara chakka kahu kodar Apana teja samharo ape Inon lokaha katin Buddha Pisasha Nikatan nahi aave Mahavira Jabanam suna Nase roga Hare sabapira Japata nirantara Hanumatavir Sankatate Hanuman Churave Manakrama Bhachana Nana Jola Saba Pararama Tapasvi Raja Inake Kaja Sakala Tum Saja Ora Manorat Joko Velave Soe Amita Jivana Palapave Charon Yuga Paratapa Tumhara He Parasita Jagata Ujjiyara Sadhu Santake Marakavare Asura Nikandana Rama Dulare Ashta Siddhi No Niti Ke Data Asaparatina Janki Mata Ramarasayana Tumare Pasa Sataroho Ragupati Ke Dasa Tumare Bhajan Rama Gopale Janam Janam Ke Dukha Bisarao Anta Kala Raguvara Purajai Jahan Mahare Bhakta Kahai Ora Devata Chitana Darai Anumatta Se Sarva Sukha Kare Sankata Kate Mite Sabha Pira Jo Sumere Anumatta Balavir Jai 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 Anuman Gosai Kripa Karo Gurudeva Kinai Jo Sattavara Patakara Ko Chutahi Bandi Mahasukho Joya Vare Hanuman Chalisa Oya Siddhi Sakni Gaudisha Tulasi Dasa Sadahari Chera Kije Nata Hridaya Mahandir Avanatanaya Sankataharana Mangalamurti Rupa Siyaram Ramalakana Sita Sayita Hridaya Vasau Surabhupa Siyavara Ramachandra Adaje Sharanam Mangalamurti Marutananda Sakala Mangalamula Nikanda Mangalamurti Marutananda Sakala Mangalamula Nikanda Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram 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 Sitaram, 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 Jai Sitaram. Sitaram, 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 Jai Sitaram. Sitaram, Sitaram, Jai Jai Sitaram, Sitaram, Lakshman Janaki Jai Bolo Hanuman Ki
Rama 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 Lakshman Janaki Jai Bolo Hanuman Ki
Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram
Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram
Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram
Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram
Sita Ram Sita Ram Sita Ram Jai Sita Ram
Sita Ram Sita Ram Sita Ram Jai Sita Ram
Sita Ram Sita Ram Sita Ram Jai Sita Ram
Sita Ram Sita Ram Sita Ram Jai Sita Ram
Ram Lakshman Janaki Jai Bolo Hanuman Ki
Rama Lakshman Janaki Jai Bolo Hanuman Ki
Ram Lakshman Janaki Jai Bolo Hanuman Ki
Rama Lakshman Janaki Jai Bolo Hanuman Ki
Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram
Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram
Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram
Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram
Sitaram Sitaram Jai Jai Sitaram 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 Jai Jai Sitaram Sitaram
Ram Jai Jai Sita Ram Sita Ram Sita Ram Jai Jai Sita Ram
Sitaram Sitaram Jai Jai Sitaram 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 Jai Jai Sitaram
Sita Ram Jai Jai Sita Ram Sita Ram Sita Ram Jai Jai Sita Ram
Bolo Ram Lakshman Janaki Jai Bolo Hanuman Ki
Rama Lakshman Janaki Jai Bolo Hanuman Ki
Ram Lakshman Janaki Jai Bolo Hanuman Ki
Rama Lakshman Janaki Jai Bolo Hanuman Ki
Ram Lakshman Janaki Jai Bolo Hanuman Ki
Rama Lakshman Janaki Jai Bolo Hanuman Ki
Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram
Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram
Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram
Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram
Sita Ram Sita Ram Sita Ram Jai Sita Ram
Sita Ram Sita Ram Sita Ram Jai Sita Ram
Sita Ram Sita Ram Sita Ram Jai Sita Ram
Sita Ram Sita Ram Sita Ram Jai Sita Ram
Bolo Ram Lakshman Janaki Jai Bolo Hanuman Ki
Rama Lakshman Janaki Jai Bolo Hanuman Ki
Ram Lakshman Janaki Jai Bolo Hanuman Ki
Rama Lakshman Janaki Jai Bolo Hanuman Ki
Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Shri Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram.
Hi.
Hi.
How you doing?
Good. How are you?
What's your name?
Stefano.
Stefano.
Yeah.
Cool.
I'm in a relationship with somebody, and we don't share the same spiritual beliefs.
Break up. Next. Yeah. So?
So, what do you do? What has been your experience in your life?
Kidnap the person, have him brainwashed, and then put your ideas into his head. Perfect. Everything will be fine.
Is it part of the path of the dharma of that relationship? Is it part of a natural challenge that there'll always be two people that?
Why is it a challenge? Do you want to change the person?
No.
So, then?
It's a question for me of sharing that experience. It's like an experience that is profound, or a path that you're interested in exploring. Spiritual practices that you want to share. Let's say, for example, you want to go to a Krishna Das concert
God
on the
forbid.
Upper West Side.
God forbid.
And your girlfriend's like, let's go to a movie instead. You know?
Yeah. So you go to a movie the day before or the day after. But Saturday night, I'm going to sing with this weirdo. You know, you have to, it's negotiation, it's giving in, and it's, if you care enough about a person, you have to let them be them.
Yeah.
So you have to, there's times when you have to do what they would like to do, it brings them joy. And they have to also allow you time to do the things that you do. If they don't want to do them with you, then they have to allow you to do it. If they don't let you do it, then you got problems. Then there's somebody who's too clingy and too controlling and too insecure to let you be you. And then that's going to be a difficult situation. But otherwise, there's love is love. If you love somebody, then you want them to be happy. So you do what you can to help them, to share those things with them, with the understanding that there's things that they're not interested in,
Right.
which you are important to you. So if they're not going to let you do those things, then you got relationship issues. But otherwise, there shouldn't be any problem. But of course, reality-wise, there's always problems. It's just which kind of problems you're going to have. So I suggest you drug her, blindfold her, and bring her to the next kirtan and tie her to the chair until it's over.
Yeah.
And see what happens. Maybe
Yeah.
she'll become a crazy person like you.
Yeah.
I don't know, it's a work in progress, all this stuff. So, but talk about the stuff with the person. That's really the key. If you can't talk about the relationship, and if you can't talk about how to make it work, if there's closedness there, then there's really not much of a relationship to start with, is there? If a person loves you, then they want to see you happy, which means you'd assume they want you to be doing what makes you happy. If they don't want to do it, you don't demand they do it, but at least they have to give you the space to do it. Just like you give them the space to go to a movie, with or without you. With their friends, they can do what they want. You have to talk about things. You have to establish some communication. It can't be all pushing and pulling and not getting what you want and feeling, betrayed and rejected, and that person's not giving you what you want. And that's got to talk. That's what a relationship means. It means relating, and it's not easy for us because we're not used to being honest with ourselves or anybody else. So it's good work, and just whatever spiritual practice you're doing, quote unquote spiritual, it's got to include the relationship. In other words, You can't be sitting over here and then going and beating up your
Right.
partner.
Right.
It's got to be, and it depends just how much you can take. If a person is really not going to be cooperative and not going to let you be yourself, then who are you relating with? Why would you be in a relationship with someone who is, forget it, they don't have to believe what you believe or even be interested, but they have to at least, why would they be in a relationship with you if they didn't want you to be you?
Right.
That's not why. Some people get into relationships so they can control other people. They feel so insecure. They need a person to be who they want them to be every minute. And the minute the person does something that doesn't fit in their program, they flip out. Well, that's going to be difficult to keep that going. So, and I really, if it's difficult to talk, sometimes it's good to find a third party who is not on either one of your side, a counselor of some kind, doing some counseling, because when I was in a relationship once, and that person and I had a very difficult talking. So we went to a counselor, and I said something, and the person blew up. And the counselor said, "Now, excuse me, KD, would you repeat what you said?" And I repeated again, and they blew up again. And the counselor said, "Okay, repeat that again." And I said it a third time. Finally, the person heard what I said instead of what they thought I said. It took 3
Wow.
times saying the same thing the same way.
Wow.
Right? Because the projections were so strong and so immediate, the reactions were whatever buttons were getting pushed, they had nothing to do with what I was saying or feeling. But it took 3 times to repeat until that person heard what I said. That was, whoa, that was like a big moment. So communication is so important, and it's very difficult. And especially if you're already like enmeshed with somebody and you've given a lot of ground, so to speak, and kind of played along with that person and denied yourself being yourself in certain issues, to try to get that back,
Yeah.
it's going to be interpreted as pulling away.
Yeah.
And that's going to be difficult. So sometimes it's worth seeing a counselor and doing some counseling, relationship counseling. And if the person's not willing to do that, what are you going to do? Sometimes you just have to let go. Because you'd be betraying yourself. And we're really good at that. We got a lot of practice at that.
Experts.
But how much can we do? At some point you can't take it anymore. So how far does it have to go before you've given, I've gotten to a place in relationships where if I gave one more breath, I would fucking die.
Yeah.
And I've gotten to that place. I pushed myself to that. I would not, and finally I said, I can't do this. And I had to say, no more, it's over. I can't do this anymore. And basically it was really no surprise to that other person, to tell you the truth. Yeah, they were upset, they were angry, blah, 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 but it wasn't a surprise. I think our partners know more about what's going on than we do most of the time. And they know what they're doing. They know that they're making it difficult because we do that to each other. We make it very difficult. In this case, my partner knew exactly what was going on. They were just waiting for the shoe to drop. And I would not let that shoe drop for the longest time until I couldn't take one more breath. And then, so maybe don't let it go that long. Try to help it grow. And if it can't grow, what are you going to do?
The communication part is a great piece of advice.
Yeah, you got to talk.
Talking that part out, and even having a third party, and especially the part of
A real impartial third party, not a friend.
Yeah.
Not a friend of both of yours,
Right.
but somebody who doesn't care more about you than them. They just care about bringing out what's there.
Yeah.
That can be useful.
And the hearing how fast we can react before we hear, or until we've really heard what they actually said.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Good luck. You need it. It's not easy.
We need it.
It's not easy.
No, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
You've been down a couple paths like that.
Still going. Still going.
It's good. It's good to have work still left to do. It's good to still work left to do. You know.
Oh yeah, I'm so happy there's work.
Yeah,
left to
well.
do. I can't tell you.
We're all happy along the journey with you.
Very good. Thank
You
you.
know.
Okay, well, good.
All right.
Nice to meet you.
Thanks.
Take good care.
Thank you.
All right.
Om Namoh Gurudev Nim Karoli Babaya Namah Om Namoh Gurudev Nim Karoli Baba Namah Om Namoh Gurudev Nim Karoli Baba Namah Shri